All right, so today we're diving deep right into Lillian's world, her hobbies.
Mm-hmm.
And I know what you might be thinking. Hobbies, pretty standard stuff, right?
Yeah.
But I think with Lillian, there's more to uncover here
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
than meets the eye. Right.
Yeah, and we often think about hobbies as just these activities that kids do in their spare time, but
Right.
especially with children like Lillian, they can really give us some insight
Yeah.
into how their personality is developing, what they're passionate about.
It's like a window
Yeah,
into how their mind works.
it is. It's like a window into their inner world, exactly.
And one of the first things we see, looking through Lillian's window, are these drawings, and not just any drawings, these really vibrant landscapes, right?
Yes.
Sunrises and sunsets.
Mm-hmm.
She seems particularly drawn to.
Right, and that's a very interesting detail because there's actually research
Oh, really?
that suggests that children who are drawn to nature, to these kinds of scenes, especially ones with changing light and color, they often have a very heightened sense of
Awareness.
awareness, yeah, sensory awareness, and a really deep connection to their environment.
Yeah, it's like they're hardwired to find a sense of wonder in the natural world
Yeah.
that maybe some of us, as we get older, kind of lose.
That's a really good point, and I think
You know,
what's interesting about Lillian is it's not just about recreating what she sees, right? She
Yeah.
talks about adding this like touch of fantasy to her drawing, so it's like
oh, right.
fairies and dragons, all of that.
That's so interesting to me, that blend of the real and then the fantastical.
Yeah,
And speaking of fantastical, we can't gloss over her reading list. This girl loves to read.
she does. She does.
Fairy tales, time travel adventures,
Mm.
myths, legends, which
Well-
is, I mean, it runs the gamut.
That's fascinating because it speaks to a mind that is so curious, right?
Yeah,
And so open to exploring different worlds and perspectives.
absolutely.
And I think
And, myths and legends, those are so important to, like, cultural understanding and how we make sense of things.
they're so deeply ingrained.
Yeah, and she's drawn to those.
She is.
It's so interesting.
It's like she understands the power of stories
Yeah,
to teach us and transport us.
and she's not just passively consuming them either.
Right.
She specifically says that she loves to read before bed. It's like a ritual.
It is. It's like this very powerful ritual.
Yeah.
And, we talk about integrating these stories into our lives. It's almost as if by reading before bed, she's letting them kind of seep into her subconscious
Oh, wow.
as she sleeps.
And influence her dreams.
Yes, exactly.
And you and I both know what it's like to get lost in a good book before bed.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It makes you wonder what those stories are sparking in her imagination as she's drifting off to sleep.
Exactly. It's like planting these seeds of possibility,
Right.
in this like fertile ground of her mind. But what I think is really interesting? Lillian isn't just about, these introspective activities. This isn't a kid who is content to just, live in worlds that she's built on paper or read about in books.
Right. She's got this whole other
Yeah,
side.
exactly.
This like vibrant energy that she brings to the physical world.
Yeah, she talks about playing soccer in the park, running around with her friends, feeling the wind in her hair, like just the joy of movement.
She just seems to get it.
Yeah.
Like she
then-
understands that balance
Yes.
of needing to nourish her inner world, but also her physical self.
And there's actually a lot of research that connects physical activity to cognitive function, especially in children.
Yeah.
The way that exercise can boost creativity, problem-solving skills, even emotional regulation, it's amazing.
It's like she's read all the research already and she's just living it.
Yeah.
And it's not just the physical benefits either.
Yeah.
She mentioned spending that time with her friends,
Yes.
having that camaraderie and laughter, and just that connection.
And that's such a crucial part of development too, right?
Yeah.
The social connection, being able to mimic those friendships and navigate those relationships, those are essential skills.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's so cool how she just effortlessly seems to flow between these different parts of her life,
Mm-hmm.
like the imaginative and the physical and the social. But wait, there's one more layer to Lillian's world that we haven't even touched on.
Oh, that's right. Her cooking.
It's like she said,
Right.
okay, I've done art, literature, athletics.
Right.
Time to conquer the culinary world.
Exactly. And it's really interesting how she goes about it too.
Yeah.
She starts by watching her mom in the kitchen, learning the techniques, getting comfortable with everything.
Yeah.
And then she takes that leap,
Tries it out herself.
tries it out herself.
Yeah.
Exactly. And she starts with simple recipes, building that base level of knowledge.
It's very purposeful, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just like throwing ingredients together. She's really trying to Learn and master the basics.
Yeah, and she takes pride in it, too.
Yeah.
And I think it's really sweet that her dad enjoys her cooking so much. It speaks to that need we all have, you know, that connection and sharing our creations with people we care about.
And it's not like she's just sticking to the recipes. You know,
Okay.
remember how she adds that touch of fantasy to her artwork?
Yeah.
Well, it seems like that creative spark.
Mm-hmm.
It pops up in the kitchen, too.
Absolutely. She talks about experimenting with ingredients,
Yeah.
putting her own little twist on things.
I love that.
And that's what real creativity is, right?
Totally.
That willingness to kind of go off the beaten path and experiment and...
Yeah, and not be afraid to make a mistake.
Exactly. You
Yeah.
have to be willing to mess up sometimes to really get creative.
It's so true. You know, it would be easy to look at Lillian and all the stuff she does and think, well, she's a kid.
Right.
She's got time for all this. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's something in her story for all of us,
Absolutely.
no matter how old we are.
I completely agree.
What if we all just approached life with like that same curiosity and wonder that Lillian has?
I love it.
It's something to think about.
Think about what you were passionate about as a kid. You know,
Yeah.
what are those things that really lit you up?
Totally.
Are you still doing them? Or have you forgotten about them?
And maybe that's like the biggest takeaway from our deep dive on Lillian.
Yeah.
Just a little reminder to, you know,
Mm-hmm.
think about those things that we're passionate about.
It's so easy to get caught up in the day-to-day and
Yeah.
forget about those things that bring us joy.
Absolutely. And to remember that a life well lived has room for all of it.
It does.
The ordinary, the extraordinary,
Yes.
the things we know, the things we don't.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it.
Thanks.
And, you know, if I can just add one more thing,
Of course.
I think Lillian's story shows us the power of living a life with many different sides to it, you know?
Absolutely.
One that nourishes your mind, your body, and your spirit. And maybe that's something we can all aspire to.
Yeah, finding that harmony between all those different parts of ourselves,
Yeah.
that's something to strive for.
It is.
Well, this has been such a fascinating look into Lillian's world and what we can learn from her approach to life.
It really has.
So much to think about, and hopefully a little inspiration for us all to embrace those things that make us feel truly alive.
I couldn't have said it better myself.